We are back now with a breaking news alert that we are following out of Southeast Houston. Houston police right now in the middle of a chase. Sky 2 over that chase right now, as you can see. HPD pursuing that gray truck there. This chase is taking place on the Gulf Freeway northbound, right near FM 2351. It is unclear who the person is behind that wheel. We don't know if it is a man or a woman or why that person is running from police in the first place. The vehicle there that you see is coming up to Dixie Farm Road on Highway 45, the Gulf Freeway. Again, this looks like it's heading north into the city of Houston toward the downtown area. You can see several vehicles there on the road keeping their distance from this truck. It's pretty difficult to say exactly how fast this vehicle is going, but we do know that at least one HPD SUV has been pursuing this chase suspect for quite some time.
And we got word of this about 20 minutes ago. And again, as Andy mentioned, weaving in and out of traffic. It doesn't seem like this time of day, really, there's not a lot of traffic in this particular area, which is actually helping whoever is behind the wheel of this. We don't know what started this pursuit, what started this chase, or if that vehicle is stolen. We don't know if it's a man or a woman. We don't know what originated this chase. But again, this has been going on since shortly before 11:30 and now approaching about 20 minutes since this vehicle has been in pursuit, or HPD has been pursuing this vehicle.
And that vehicle just passed Dixie Farm Road on the Gulf Freeway. Again, that truck speeding northbound, trying to get away from police. HPD, they have an arsenal of tools and resources, if you will, at their disposal to safely end these types of police chases. One of the things that officers often do that we see here during these chases is the pit maneuver. And if the pit maneuver is done right, it's supposed to gently tap the rear of the car that's being pursued in order to disrupt that car's traction. Oftentimes, we'll see police set out spike strips if they're able to do so once these chases move off of our highways and into some residential streets. The suspect's vehicle, the truck, now approaching the Beltway, again, northbound on the Gulf Freeway. You just saw that HPD SUV in close pursuit of this truck. Again, several things that we just don't know at this hour, including who is behind the wheel of this truck, whether there's another person inside, and why this person is running from police from the first place. But our assignment desk making calls right now to HPD, trying to get a lot of these questions answered for you.
And now we're learning that this vehicle is approaching Fuquay on the road there, and again, weaving in and out of, there doesn't seem to be too much traffic there at this time of the hour. And again, so still so many questions, but again, weaving in and out of traffic there, and certainly not safe for anybody on the road. But you can see upwards of 30 minutes now, and that vehicle just passed Monroe. And again, yes, there's still a lot of questions, Andy.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago, HPD instituted the use of the pit maneuver, allowing officers to stop these kinds of chases using the pit maneuver as long as they could safely do so. So that's certainly one of the things that we may see take place here. It all really depends on the situation at hand. And given the fact that there are so many other vehicles on the road right now, it's unclear exactly what kind of tactic the pursuing officers are going to take to get this truck to pull over. One of the other things that we often see, and I've brought this up already, is the use of spike strips in these types of high-speed chases. Officers can lay down spike strips, which will pop the tires and get the vehicle to come to a stop. But again, they have to be in a position where they can safely use these types of tactics.
Coming up on Park Place now, we see that truck just going around a school bus, slowing traffic there as well.
Yeah, and always this time of day, especially as you get this close to downtown Houston heading north on the Gulf Freeway, you tend to see traffic beginning to build, and many of you watching right now have been on the Gulf Freeway heading north into downtown and seeing these slows, the traffic come to a not quite a complete stop, but for things to slow down. Well, he's experiencing that right now, and now trying to weave his way and maneuver in and out of the traffic that has slowed down near the downtown Houston area, because Christine, he's getting pretty close to the downtown area right now.
Well, yeah, and as you can see, obviously traffic building. Whoever was driving, we don't know if it's a man or a woman, but the driver was kind of flying down the road for the past 30 minutes, and now for the first time is really hitting more congested traffic as this driver now reaches the downtown area and is becoming a little sketchier in and out of these cars, because cars are having to slam on their brakes as this driver tries to flee from HPD.
And you made a really good point earlier. The windows are tinted, so we really don't know what's taking place inside of the vehicle right now. We don't know how many people are inside of that truck, whether the driver is a man or a woman. But based on the actions of this driver determined not to get caught by police, even though traffic is continuing to build there on the Gulf Freeway northbound. A pretty close call right there with that white SUV, as this driver is total disregard for the other drivers who are on the road right now. They're getting close to the South Loop, we understand. We saw at least 2 HPD vehicles pursuing this truck. You just saw one of them right there pop up on your screen. Certainly, we know how these things end, and they don't always end well for the person behind the wheel trying to get away from police.
Yeah, it's only really a matter of time, as we've seen in the past with these chases. It's either officers will catch up with this vehicle, that vehicle will crash, as we've seen in other instances, but this has been going on for a half hour or so, and still really they're a little slowing down, but that's just to weave in and out of traffic, and really there doesn't seem to be any end in sight at this point. And
our producer Cynthia just telling me in my ear that the driver is now on a service road there, so the truck has exited the freeway in the south side of Houston. You just saw that HPD SUV trying to pull up alongside the truck in the left lane, perhaps to possibly use a pit maneuver.
Oh, there we go.
To get the truck to pull over, to safely get him off the road, him or her off the road. And you just saw him tap there, tap the back of the vehicle, the back of the truck.
On the left side, yeah.
On the left side. Now it looks like the truck may be getting back on the freeway. It's pretty difficult to tell. But now he or she is maneuvering in and out of traffic there right now.
Now totally boxed
in there.
Yeah, we'll have to see. So this is the first chance that HPD really has had to get to this driver. As you just mentioned, that pit maneuver, you can see the officers getting out of the vehicle right now.
And we're not seeing any movement inside of the truck. The officer has his weapon drawn. He's keeping a safe distance from the driver's side of the truck. Traffic completely at a standstill there on the service road. You can see another police officer there at the bottom of your screen as well, has exited the vehicle. The one officer has his weapon drawn. We're not seeing any movement inside of the truck. A window hasn't been rolled down, but there's really nowhere for this truck to go at this point.
No, it's totally boxed in, and this is the first time this has happened in this chase in the 35 minutes or so that we have been following this. We don't know who's in that vehicle. We don't know why they're trying to flee police, but we do know this is the first sort of standstill. The window is going down. We're getting our first look at whoever is inside. It looks like it's a gentleman.
And he's now opening, reaching for the door handle. It looks like somebody's getting out of the passenger side as well. The door just opened up.
Hands are drawn.
We're told there's a female passenger, is what we're being told. The driver, both of his hands up. Officers are instructing him to get down on the ground with his hands behind his back. He appears to be complying with orders. As the officers stand there with their weapons drawn, there's at least 3 officers there, 4 officers there, 3 of them with their weapons drawn.
Yeah, we did see the female passenger get out on the passenger side, saw her briefly. It appears we can't see her, so we can only assuming that she's on the ground as well and following the officer's instructions.
They're moving in on that suspect right now. He's got his hands behind his back, laying flat on the cement on his stomach, and is now being taken into custody, handcuffed without incident. Pretty difficult to see what's taking place, as you mentioned, Christine, on the other side of that truck where that female passenger was.
And we can see that now. We can really truly see the presence of the officers there that were following this, and it looks like they are now approaching that female passenger who appears to be on the ground. And it looks like this is now wrapping up. And this is really the best case scenario, because we've seen people this ending in a crash before, and obviously the people that were on the roads, they seem to be okay as well after this vehicle had zero regard for everyone else that was driving.
So the male driver, the female driver being taken into custody without incident. Thank goodness no officers were hurt or any of the other drivers on the road were hurt, because we saw at times this truck, this guy, he was just zigzagging, weaving in and out of traffic with no disregard for anybody else on the road.
Yeah, on the highways, around school buses, as traffic started to build heading into the downtown area. So we're certainly pleased to see that nobody was injured, and that this person, whoever this person is, we still have to figure out who that gentleman is and who that woman is, what their motive was. That is yet to be determined, but as of right now, we know that they are now in police custody.
And thank goodness for lunchtime traffic, right? Especially in that part of town where typically around the noon hour, we see a lot of congestion build on the Gulf Freeway and on those service roads, and that's exactly what we saw happen here. Once that chase suspect exited the freeway onto the service road, traffic started to back up, and that truck was essentially boxed in.
Well, you can only assume that there's not, when it comes to these kind of chases, there's not a lot of thought that goes into it. They're like, okay, we're on the highway, it's starting to, the traffic's starting to build up, let's just exit and get to any open road that we can. And for this driver, it ended up in a dead end.
Well, certainly that officer able to use the pit maneuver to get this chase to come to an end. We saw that executed very well there on the service road along the Gulf Freeway.